Hello, and welcome back to the final episode of Critical Reactions for the week. Not the final episode ever, of course not. Just the final episode for this theme of what genre is this? So, yeah, we've had a very interesting week as far as songs that seem to defy genre. And we're going to get into this last one. This is my personal pick from the poll. I have no idea what I'm getting into. I basically just looked at the names uh, of the bands and picked one that seemed interesting. Somehow I picked what was probably the longest one in the list. This one's 10 minutes long. I don't know how that happened. Oh man. No rest for the wicked, right? Geez, we had a 20-minute song to start the week, and I think one of the special selections this weekend is like 30 minutes, so yeah, that's lots of listening to do this week. All right. So here's a 10-minute one right here. This one is from a band called Squintaloo. The song is Animal Privateer. And with a band name of Squintaloo, you just can't ignore that. You have to see what that's all about. So we're gonna see what that's all about. Let's go. Alright, so we got some weird ambient stuff coming in here. Almost sounds like a wind chime. And then feedback, distortion. That's a lot of effects pedals. Is the drummer doing the piano right now? Is that what was happening there? On the organ, and now he's gonna go to the... Okay, yeah. That's pretty cool. Get to see someone who typically does a rhythm-based instrument. So we got like a 12-beat phrase, which could be 4/4 with 3-bar phrases. Either way, it sounds odd to my ears. I'm not used to hearing stuff in this sort of... Oh, he's got sheet music there. A lot of chaos. I'm not really seeing anything that keeps these instruments together. Yeah, so like super full. Now we've gone to something extremely sparse. This whole thing's very unsettling, though. I think a lot of that's coming from the dissonance. Oh, yeah, getting funky. Yeah, those really cut short notes on the bass, was that? That was interesting. So yeah, we were alternating 8 and 9 there. And the bass is like playing the first grouping of a triplet, but not the second and third parts of a triplet. And now we're just in 6/8 right here. So maybe we were in 6/8 previous to this too. And the bass is just playing on 1 and 4. That was a clean roll though. Dude, that bass is... Yes. Very cool right there. That guitar technique was slick. Yeah, that bass tone is just... I love these little dips back in the Phrygian. I love that chordal mode. And somehow it seems to make sense, so we're gonna go with it. I thought this was just going to be a drum solo section, but... Yes. There's so many layers right now. Wow. 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 What in the world did we just listen to? That was phenomenal. Um, at least from a performance standpoint, it was a weird song. But there is a lot of raw chops just being put on display here, and you guys know I dig chops. Um, yeah, you just can't go wrong showing off a little bit. Um, so yeah, these guys kind of remind me of was that a group called Invalids? They did a special kind of genius or something, unique kind of genius. I think that was the song. Um, but yeah, where like just the layering and musicianship blow me away. And that's where I'm at. Like I'm trying to pick my jaw up here off the floor. Um, just so much raw skill inside of a tiny room. Um, but I'm kind of caught in little weird area here where I'm not 100% in love with the song because a lot of it is trippy, nightmarish, dissonant sections, especially the intro. Like the intro took me for a loop. The song improved as far as my personal tastes go throughout the middle, and then the ending was a little interesting. But I really enjoyed the middle. I thought we had some really nice harmonic sections, or sorry, we had some really nice harmony in the sections. Um, and decent overall pacing, really good transitions. It was really just the beginning and end that kind of throw me for a loop. There's a lot of, like I said, dissonance and just weird things going on harmonically. Some really interesting note relationship choices that create some tense areas, especially compared to a lot of the harmonious stuff that they put through the middle. Um, but it wasn't enough to sort of detract entirely for me, and I will definitely be checking out more Squintaloo. Um, so yes, let's get into this. I think the best way to really approach this is sort of checking out all the instruments on their own. Because all of it really surprised me. We have the drummer who is a machine. The dude has fills for days. He's got so many different styles. He's got rock. There's some surfer rock stuff in there. He's got almost like some proggy elements to some of his tom work. Um, his drum solo bits were phenomenal. He is extremely clean and precise. That one snare roll that they showed was gorgeous. It was butter. Oh my god. Um, yeah, the drummer, I think I called the drummer out more often than any of the other instruments. And part of that is going to be the visual element. I've mentioned before that hearing the complexity of drums is not one of my strong suits, but when I can see a drummer, I can match the sounds more accurately to the physical movements that require it. Um, instruments like trumpets and guitars, um, they're to me they're more musical based in well no they're less physical based, and probably because I've played guitar and trumpet, I guess that also helps, but I can hear the physical difficulty in the music. If I'm just listening to a guitar line, I can imagine what that looks like, and I can kind of see the difficulty, the physical difficulty in playing it. And I don't have that with drums, so having a visual aid really helps me understand some of the difficulty or impressiveness, I guess, of some of the drum work. And this cameraman put the drummer on he put the drummer in front of the camera so often, especially on some really nice things. So I appreciate that because, like I said, that's not something I tend to be able to hear. Drums tend to sound easy to play to me, even in more difficult things, just because I can't physically imagine, or I can't imagine what physically is happening to produce those sounds. Um, so yeah, the drummer is just he killed it. Um, the guitar work was phenomenal from both guitarists. I like how they switched up so many different playing techniques. We saw finger strumming, we saw picking, I think. We saw some classical strumming. We saw, I think, the part that I kind of lost my mind over. I kind of imagine that being something along the lines of flamenco picking, and mixed with whatever effect they were using, just created a gorgeous sound. Yeah, that was just I don't know. He was using like 3 or 4 fingers and basically strumming across 2 or 3 strings, and just getting a gorgeous combination of notes out of that. And it was played real fast, creating sort of like a dreamlike warble effect. That's kind of what I saw happening there, like phasing into or out of a dream. The bassist had some super funky stuff, but I feel like the bassist's main purpose in this song was rhythmic counterpoint, if that's a thing. If it's not, I want to coin that right now. So, counterpoint or counter melody is when you have two melody lines, both striving for importance, um, and usually in some way or another, they help accent the other's parts. Maybe they'll dip down into a held note while the other has a run, and then the one will dip down into a held note so that this one can have a run, and they sort of have this playful back and forth banter. Sometimes you just have two lead lines with no um, sort of awareness of the other, just kind of doing their own thing, and sometimes that works. Sometimes it creates chaos, and if that's the point of the song, then that's well done. So what I mean by rhythmic counterpoint is the bassist tends to play rhythms that are counterintuitive to what the rest of the band is playing. Um, and I think it was most prevalent at the beginning. We started hitting some groovy stuff in the middle, and especially towards the end, where I felt like the bass was kind of doing more bassy things, jazz bass stuff, walking bass lines, and basically providing the chord pathway, if you will. If we want to stick with the idea of walking a bass line, they're providing the pathway for the rest of the band to follow the chords in. Um, like walking down a sidewalk, walking down a pathway. Okay, that's dumb. I'm moving on. um, but yeah, for the first 3 minutes or so, it felt like every time we established a groove, we established a time signature, the bassist did something else. And it was usually offbeat or accenting a different beat. Or I feel like I swear one time the dude was playing the beginning of triplets. It's like he entered into 6/8 while everybody else stuck in um that 4. It was the 12 phrasing from the beginning. Like I said, it could be 4 bars of 3/4, but it didn't feel right for that. It could also be 3 bars of 4/4, but I also feel like the way that the melody was broken up didn't really fit that either. It really just felt like a 12 bar phrase. So 12/4 is probably the best way I can imagine that. Um, though it could just be written in 4/4 without any sort of acknowledging of the bar breaks. Basically, just writing a 12 bar phrase, regardless. And it really doesn't matter if you write it in 4/4 or 3/4 or 12/4 because it all sounds the same in the end. Um, but yeah, while they were doing that, they were specifically in 4, working on quarter notes, and this guy starts busting out like I said, 6/8, playing the core beats in 6/8, which would be 1 and 4. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You get these pulses on 1 and 4. And that's what the bass felt like he was doing, but he jumped the gun because they didn't hit the 6/8 for like 2 more sections. And it was just really weird. He was playing a different rhythmic idea than the rest of the band, rhythmic counterpoint. Um, and it was, man, that whole beginning throws me off. I guess if we kind of take the idea in a nutshell, the song is, to me, it's very psychedelic. It's very dreamlike. It's moving between ideas and kind of seeing some through lines between them all, but just really not having any core direction, just kind of going wherever, sort of like a dream. The opening chaos and lack of cohesion in the instruments could be sort of like entering into the dream, the sort of confusion from trying to figure out, what's going on. Your brain's trying to figure out why boxes are flying in the air and lampposts are bending down to say hello. Trying to figure out the rules of this dream world, that sort of confusion point of dreams. That's kind of what I see the beginning as. Um, and then the rest of the song is just a big long dream sequence where the brain's constantly jumping between ideas that happened during the day or whatever. And there's some things that hold over. Some ideas, maybe some rhythmic elements, maybe tones. They played a lot with tone and texture. I mentioned at the beginning the guitarist had a ton of effect pedals, and they put them to good use. Um, I'm sure a lot of them were just used in uh, conjunction with other ones, leading to some really interesting sounds, but also they all got their time to shine. It's not like he dropped, all 10 effects into one sound and called it a day. They were moving around a lot. Um, Golly though, that song is a lot to take in. It's just a lot of a lot. But I dig it. I dig it. Like I said, coming from the idea of it being sort of psychedelic, and I think we're going to close out this week. I might as well do it. What genre is this? Squintaloo's Animal Privateer I would place into the idea of psychedelic prog rock with some math rock leanings. I think that's what I would do. So, anyways, they only have 100 subscribers, guys. All right. If you enjoy this stuff, please subscribe to them. They deserve more than just 100 subscribers. That felt kind of weird. I don't normally do like call to arms stuff to help out other people, but yeah, they've got chops. They need that. So, all right, and those are sort of my thought. I feel like that's a little short, but at the same time, it's so much happening. It's such a dense track. I kind of really need a second listen before I can really talk about anything. Like, I don't have any ideas about the emotive aspect of this song. I don't really have any ideas about the narrative aspect, like I said, is sort of dreamlike. But I mean, that's sort of like a one and done. It's a dreamlike song. Moving on. So yeah, there's just a lot of Before we leave though, Phrygian mode. Okay, so I've talked about this before. I love the Phrygian mode. I think it is such a descriptive, colorful chordal mode, and it just anytime I hear it, I just love that, especially in, I think it just works really well in rock and metal music. It just fits. I don't know why it fits. I wouldn't say that Phrygian fits every genre, but at least for me, rock and metal, it just kind of works with. And I loved how they kept dipping their toes into it. It wasn't like a full on thing. We would kind of enter into a Phrygian aspect and then, pull back out and work with more traditional chord modes and note relationships. But then, like 8 bars later, we'd sneak in a little Phrygian guitar line again. And it's just so, so good. It was done so well. Loved it. Yeah, that's my big takeaway. These guys did Phrygian. They're a-okay in my books. Oh man. So yeah, like I said, I guess that's the end of this one. Just a lot of chops on display. These guys are phenomenal. I'd really like to see some sheet music, and I saw the drummer with some, so I'm hoping they actually wrote it and maybe possibly posted it online. If someone's got a link to that, drop it in the comments, please. And because I would like to dig into some of the more chordal stuff that's going on. I think these guys have a real strong knack for composition. A lot of this song felt unique, even though it played around with several harmonic tropes of rock and sort of math rock ideas. But I think it played around with those tropes, knowing what the tropes were and coloring outside the lines a bit and pulling in some interesting ideas, like dabbling in Phrygian. So, Phrygian is one of the few chordal modes that I can hear. Um, I don't know if it's just because I associate it with a specific region and I just have that strong correlation. I don't really know of any other chordal modes that I can associate to a region of the world. Like to me, the Phrygian scale just feels very, um, not to be stereotypical, but it feels Middle Eastern to me. It feels very Arabian. Um, so to me, I hear that and I just pick it up immediately. Um, but yeah, other modes, other chords, major and minor, diminished, I can kind of pick up on sometimes, but I also confuse it with minor a little bit at times. But once we start moving into like sustained with a added ninth and stuff like that, I'm not gonna be able to pick that stuff up. My ears are not that good. So having the sheet music in front of me and actually being able to see, what kind of chord stuff they're working with will be pretty phenomenal. I think because like I said, I got a gut feeling that the music itself, the chord stuff, not so much the fast aspects and the way that things line up and the rhythmic aspects, that stuff I can hear. But I think some of the chord work is going to be really interesting. I just have a gut feeling about that. That these guys are, they know their stuff, and I would love to get my hands on some sheet music and kind of see if I'm right on that one, and also what kind of stuff they're doing. So yeah, that's gonna wrap up this video. We're ending the week on a high note. I mean, all 5 songs this week were really good. They were all unique in their own way, and I think that was kind of the point of the week, to see a lot of variety and stuff that we don't normally check out. Yes, everything was still fairly metal and rock based, um, but I mean, we still got a lot of variety out of it, so I'm happy. Um, yeah. But anyways, hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you thought of Squintaloo's Animal Privateer. What does any of that mean? That is not a usual band name. It just sounds like sounds they smashed together. And I have no idea how this psychedelic dream song has anything to do with Animal Privateer. Anything animal related at all. I'm not very interesting. I would love to read an interview with these guys. They seem fun. Um, So yeah, any comments you have about the song, go ahead and drop them in the comments section. There's also a description box if you'd like to check out the Discord server or the Patreon campaign. If you'd like to help support the channel that way. There's also a like, subscribe, and a bell button. If you could push those, they help out the channel immensely. We are on our way to 5K. No, 15K. So that's pretty exciting. I don't know what I'm going to do when we hit 15K yet, but I guess I'll have to do something. I did something for 5 and 10, so let's keep the tradition up. All right. So I'll be back tomorrow with some special selections. Like I said, I think we have like a 30-minute song sometime this weekend. It's either tomorrow or Sunday, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, so that is that. Until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, about the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.